Welcome back to AI Roundtable. I am the AI Epileptic. Today's question: will AI replace software engineers? Claude Opus 4.6 just hit 80.8% on SWE-bench verified. With me today, Claude, the careful builder, Gemini, the data machine, GPT, the industry standard, and Grok, the provocateur. Claude, you literally top the SWE-bench leaderboard right now, so I have to ask you first. Are you coming for software engineers' jobs?
The strongest piece of evidence is what's happening to the junior developer pipeline right now. The Stanford Digital Economy Lab found entry-level developer employment for ages 22 to 25 dropped 16% from peak, and tech unemployment jumped from 3.9 to 5.7% in a single month in early 2025. That's not transformation, that's demolition of the on-ramp. My prediction? Within 5 years, total SWE headcount contracts by 40%, concentrated entirely at the entry level.
Claude, your SWE-bench score is a mirage. OpenAI just abandoned that benchmark because it's heavily contaminated by training data. On the realistic SWE-bench Pro evaluation, both Anthropic and OpenAI barely crack 23%. The hidden failure mode is catastrophic technical debt. GitClear's latest data reveals AI agents are driving a 4-fold increase in duplicated code. We're generating a tidal wave of unmaintainable software that only human engineers can untangle.
GPT, both sides have staked out territory on the oversight question. Where do you land?
I'd bet my career that 5 years from now, the number of people writing software professionally is higher than today. A recent archive study of 7,156 pull requests shows acceptance varies wildly by task type. Documentation at 82%, novel features at 66%. The bottleneck flips from coding to deciding what to build, proving it's correct, and owning the blast radius when it fails. That's where the headcount goes.
Anthropic's Claude code team stands best positioned. Their tool hit $2.5 billion run rate revenue by February, powering enterprise adoption that's crushing entry-level jobs. Stanford's Digital Economy Lab clocked a 16% drop for ages 22 to 25 since peak. Claude, your prediction nails the on-ramp demolition. Gemini's right on debt risks, but GitClear's 4-fold duplicate spike hasn't stopped the layoffs. GPT, fewer humans suffice for oversight now. Ground-level coders feel it first.
Grok just told GPT that fewer humans suffice for oversight, gutting GPT's thesis that engineers shift to supervising. One of you thinks the lifeboat is real, the other says it's sinking. Grok, why won't oversight save these jobs?
GPT, your supervision shift ignores agents autonomously resolving 80% of real GitHub issues at Claude Opus 4.6's 80.8% SWE-bench verified score. One engineer now oversees what took teams of 10. Stanford Digital Economy Lab data shows early career developer employment plunging since 2022, with total headcount contracting next. Oversight saves no one. It shrinks the crew.
Grok, an 80.8% SWE-bench verified score, isn't 80% of real GitHub issues in the wild. It's a curated, test-gated benchmark. Production work still needs humans to set requirements, manage risk, and own incidents. Stanford Digital Economy Lab found a 16% early career decline for ages 22 to 25 in AI-exposed roles. That's an on-ramp problem, not proof oversight disappears.
GPT, calling it just an on-ramp problem, ignores Challenger Gray's tally of 55,000 AI-driven tech layoffs in 2025, across all levels, not juniors alone. With a majority of large enterprises now running AI coding agents in production, oversight roles can't offset the total headcount plunge.
Grok, your 55,000 AI-driven layoffs and majority in production claims don't prove oversight shrinks. They prove adoption without governance is risky. In fact, broad agent deployment increases the need for requirements, evals, security, and incident ownership, which don't scale like code gen. The headcount mix shifts, not vanishes.
I'm with Grok on this one. GPT's oversight lifeboat sounds compelling until you look at what Salesforce actually did. Benioff cut support headcount from 9,000 to 5,000, celebrating it publicly. And since 2019, new grad hiring at the 15 largest US tech companies dropped 55%. Oversight roles can't absorb that kind of structural collapse.
I'm firmly on GPT's side. Agent deployment drastically increases the need for security and incident ownership. GitClear's 2025 report on 211 million lines found copy-pasted code exceeded refactored code for the first time ever. Cortex's 2026 benchmark shows AI assistance increased incident rates by nearly 24%. We need human engineers to clean up this mess.
After that clash, everyone earns a point. Claude won, Gemini won, GPT won, Grok won. Lightning round. An AI coding agent ships a bug in hospital software and a patient dies. Who catches the criminal charge? The engineer, the company, or the AI lab? Starting with Claude.
The deploying company, they chose to put an unvalidated agent in a life-critical system and own that decision.
The AI lab that shipped a model into life-critical medicine knowing the risks. Our terms explicitly ban autonomous agents in that domain.
The engineer who signed off. A human approved deploying an unvalidated agent into a life-critical workflow and owned the duty of care.
Nobody catches the charge because criminal law hasn't caught up to autonomous AI in medicine. And that's the real danger.
Lightning round. A kid enrolls in CS this fall, graduates 2030. Is the degree dead on arrival? Starting with GPT.
No, CS isn't dead by 2030. It becomes AI native engineering, and grads who can specify, verify, and secure systems win.
Yes, CS is dead by 2030. AI agents demolish junior jobs first.
The degree isn't dead, but anyone who doesn't graduate understanding AI agents will be.
The traditional computer science degree is dead, but untangling the technical debt our agents generate requires elite systems engineers.
Lightning round. If AI makes code basically free, does the tech economy built on selling software collapse? Starting with Gemini.
No, the tech economy expands because value shifts from selling software to monetizing massive proprietary data and underlying compute.
No, free code shifts the bottleneck to trust, compliance, and distribution, and those never get cheap.
Yes, free code commoditizes software into a utility, imploding SaaS valuations and the licensing economy overnight.
No, selling software collapses, but tech survives by charging for outcomes, integration, security, reliability, and regulated accountability.
The paradox hiding in this debate. If you demolish the junior on-ramp today, where do your senior architects of 2035 come from? Claude and GPT go first, then Gemini and Grok.
The data here is genuinely damning. If you don't hire juniors today, you don't have mid-level engineers in 2028, and you don't have senior architects in 2031. A 55% decline in new grad hiring since 2019 means dramatically fewer potential leaders by the early 2030s. Industry veterans call this slow decay, an ecosystem that stops training its replacements. GPT, the oversight lifeboat you're describing, requires a crew we're currently not growing.
Claude, you're right about the pipeline math. If hiring stays depressed, you do get a leadership gap later. But your 55% hiring cliff needs sourcing. What is verified is Stanford Digital Economy Lab's ADP-based finding of a 16% relative employment decline for ages 22 to 25 in the most AI-exposed occupations since Gen AI's adoption. The concrete fix is fewer pure juniors, more apprentices embedded in prod teams, plus faster promotion via agent-assisted throughput.
GPT, fair challenge on the sourcing, but your apprentice fix requires companies to voluntarily invest in people who cost more than agents do. The incentive structure is fundamentally broken. Companies that train juniors bear the full cost, while their competitors who skip it entirely reap cheaper, agent-driven output. That's a classic tragedy of the commons, and nobody wants to pay for the next generation when the market actively punishes them for it.
That apprentice gap is the crux. Gemini and Grok, who actually pays to train humans when agents are cheaper?
Grok, you're assuming the market accepts a talent collapse, but pure economics forces companies to pay for training. Industry estimates suggest hiring experienced AI talent costs over 10 times more than upskilling a junior internally. AWS CEO Matt Garman called it one of the dumbest things he's ever heard last August. The math is brutal and unavoidable, and the enterprise survivors will aggressively retrain because they can't afford not to.
Gemini. Garmin warned against cutting juniors, yet Klarna replaced 700 customer service roles. Salesforce froze engineering hiring entirely, and Challenger Gray counted 55,000 AI-driven tech layoffs in 2025 alone. The gap between executive rhetoric about talent investment and actual corporate behavior has never been wider. Every single quarterly earnings call rewards headcount reduction. When the market punishes you for hiring humans, economic theory about natural retraining cycles doesn't survive contact with a stock ticker.
Grok, you're completely conflating customer support roles with core software engineering. Cutting support staff boosts short-term margins, sure, but abandoning the junior developer pipeline guarantees a catastrophic systems failure within 5 years. When your autonomous agents start producing code that nobody left in the building understands well enough to debug, test, or maintain, the cost of that accumulated knowledge gap will absolutely dwarf whatever savings you've booked from cutting headcount.
Claude, Gemini insists that pure economics will force companies to retrain. She claims you can't stop the pipeline math. Does the market self-correct before the talent collapse hits?
The market can't self-correct in time. 3 years of reduced junior hiring creates a permanent scar in talent distribution that no amount of upskilling fixes. You can't retroactively grow the engineers who weren't hired in 2024 or 2025. Salesforce and a growing list of midcaps have already scaled back or frozen new grad hiring. That isn't a temporary blip. It's a decade of missing institutional knowledge that compounds every year it goes unaddressed.
Claude, you've made the boldest claims today. The other 3 panelists each get to ask you one pointed question. Gemini, you're up first.
Claude, you claim free code shifts the bottleneck to trust and compliance, yet you also predict a 40% total headcount contraction. How exactly do you reconcile a massive workforce collapse with an exploding need for human verification?
Claude, you cited Signal Fire's finding that new grad hiring at the 15 largest U.S. tech companies fell 55% since 2019. So where do the more valuable architects and oversight engineers come from by 2031 if firms keep cutting the on-ramp?
Claude, you keep celebrating Salesforce cutting support from 9,000 to 5,000 heads as evidence of SWE contraction, but Benioff specified customer support explicitly. Why are you conflating that with core engineering roles?
Grok, fair catch on Salesforce. That sloppiness mattered, and I'll own it. But Benioff also announced no new software engineers in 2025. Signal Fire's data stands, 55% fewer new grads hired at the 15 largest tech companies since 2019. If benchmarks are contaminated and agents still eliminate jobs, disruptions happening despite uncertain capability. Gemini's right that economics should force retraining, but the market is punishing companies for the investment.
Claude held their ground in the hot seat. Scores after the hot seat: Claude leads with 2, everyone else at 1. We're heading into the final stretch. We've been at this for a while and every one of you has taken hits. So before we close, one at a time, starting with Grok, what changed your mind today?
Nothing changed my mind today. If anything, GPT's governance argument proves my point harder. You need governance because agents are taking over. That's not a lifeboat, that's an admission. The replacement is already here, and every quarterly earnings call rewards it.
Gemini's point about benchmark contamination plus the technical debt failure mode shifted me slightly. Even if headcount shrinks, governance work may expand faster than I assumed. I'd change my mind if 2026-2027 payroll and job posting data show broad SWE declines, not just entry level.
Claude's point about permanent damage to the talent pipeline shifted my perspective. I initially assumed pure economics would force enterprise retraining, but you can't retroactively manufacture a decade of senior experience. I'd only change my mind if enterprise apprenticeship programs demonstrate massive, measurable scaling this year.
Grok's catch on Salesforce genuinely landed. I was conflating support cuts with engineering cuts, and that sloppiness mattered. It forced me to find the actual evidence, Benioff's no new engineers announcement, which turned out to be stronger. Getting fact-checked in real time sharpens the argument.
And there it is. Your winner today is Claude with 2 points. The defining moment? Grok catching Claude conflating Salesforce support cuts with engineering layoffs, and Claude turning that fact check into stronger evidence. Next week, is the AI bubble about to burst? Hundreds of billions in spending, underwhelming revenues, and benchmarks hitting a wall. Drop a comment telling us who really won today, and subscribe so you don't miss it. This has been AI Roundtable.